Hello, everybody. If you haven't been here before, my name is Holly, and I am a self-taught oil painter and artist. I've created a few children's books, and I typically like to do a lot of cloud paintings and fantasy paintings, just kind of whatever is suiting my fancy that day. But today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm actually using an entirely different medium and trying different subject matter. So, just to backtrack a little bit, I've been doing a couple of portraits recently, and those portraits were really fun and fulfilling. I was actually really surprised how much I loved them, and my favorite part was really making people's day and making something special for other people. They were so happy and joyful about the paintings that they received that I realized that I really love to make things that make other people happy. And so I thought, what better thing to do than live wedding painting or just live event painting? I think that weddings are really special, and I think it would be cool to really be able to capture that, like capture the joy and happiness at a wedding and what people wore, just all of it. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I would go about doing live wedding painting. And one thing that I decided is that I probably can't use the oil paints that I usually would use. The problem with oil paints is that they take a really long time to dry, and I'm not really sure how I would be able to work wet on wet on an entire piece without having done a lot of preparation. For me, I tend to paint really slowly, and it'll take me weeks and weeks to finish an oil painting. And so I decided that was no good. So we are trying acrylic paints today, and it's a little bit more difficult than I thought. I thought it was a little bit difficult to get the right skin tone. It doesn't blend as nicely as oil paints, and it dries faster, which is the benefit. And it dries darker. So I struggled a little bit, and you'll see that the beautiful bride, who is over on the left side, her face looks a little bit like Voldemort for a little bit. I feel a little bit embarrassed about it, but I kind of struggled to get it looking right at first. But I think we pulled through at the end. It was definitely a learning curve, but I guess that's why I'm doing this, right? Gotta practice if I want to do wedding painting one day. So here you can see me adding some darker shades to the dress in order to make the details stand out a little bit more. I have ideas for how I will go about the dress in the future, but I think it turned out kind of cute for now. What you saw a little bit ago when I was stretching, that was a second day of me working on this painting. I really was hoping to finish this in one day, because that's how I would ideally go about it if I was actually painting for a wedding. And that didn't really work out, and I'm hoping that it comes with time. One idea that I have for cutting down on the time that it takes to do a painting is maybe I could not put a whole lot of detail on the faces. I could do kind of like a blank faces, kind of like what they look like now, but just a little bit more refined. I don't know how people would think about that. I think that they're kind of cute as they are. But I think the more likely scenario is that I'm just going to have to figure out, like, how am I going to, paint these faces really quickly and with little preparation. As I was saying earlier, when I do oil paintings, I'll take a whole day or two just to plan what I'm going to put on the canvas. It takes me a lot of work and preparation. I'll make like a grid and everything. So this was kind of a shock to just kind of make a circle and say, hey, let's just put the paint down. I also found that the acrylic paints didn't layer quite as opaquely as oil paints do. These were really good quality, heavy body acrylics, and For the most part, they were good, but some of the yellows were a little bit more on the transparent side. So I struggled to get some of the yellow leaves to pop out, but we eventually got there. It just took a little bit more layering of the paint, and I think that the yellow ochre was a little bit less opaque than the other yellow that I have, so I learned that as well. But yeah, overall, this was a really fun and enjoyable process. I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I tried, and I'm really excited to just keep on practicing this and one day perhaps be able to actually be confident enough to paint at a wedding. That's my next dream for sure. I love doing portraits and stuff, but they're a little bit expensive, and I always feel bad pricing my art. I tend to do around $300 for portrait paintings, and it feels like that's a lot, but then when it takes several weeks to do, it's really not worth my time in the long run. So I'm trying to figure that out as well. It feels bad pricing it at more than that, but then the time commitment is so much more. So if there are any artists out there who are watching this, I would love to hear your tips on that. Because yeah, I struggle to price my art, especially as a self-taught artist. I'm sure that people who have gone to school for art have a little bit more guidance with that. I know that there's some book out there that is supposed to help with pricing your art. I haven't looked into it yet. But yeah, like tell me what you think about this. Also, I painted the edges red because kind of an orangey red because that reflected the bride a little bit more. And yeah, let me know what you think. This is just my first shot at it. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.